The federal report out today finds the worst blackout in San Diego's history was due to poor planning. Michael Shames, executive director of UCAN, joins me to talk about the federal investigation into the blackout. So, Michael, we know that this blackout was triggered by a utility worker at a substation in Arizona who was trying to fix a piece of equipment. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission says that should have never caused the blackout that it did. Why did it?
The regulators pointed to a combination of three factors: bad planning, bad communication, and bad judgment. And those three things, the regulators said, is what contributed to making what should have been a small, isolated instance or event in the desert into a massive electric highway traffic jam throughout Southern California that has effectively shut down Southern California's electric highway.
Just to be clear, the system is built to withstand such an incident.
The regulators made very clear what happened in Arizona should in no way have caused the kind of massive outages that we had in Southern California.
So these three factors that the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission outlined as the causes of this blackout: lack of planning, lack of observability and awareness on the day of the blackout. First of all, what does that mean, and who's to blame? Is it the California Independent System Operator, which is responsible for maintaining enough power in the grid, or is it San Diego Gas and Electric? Who is it?
Okay. To the first question, the regulators were essentially saying that the operators who were running the transmission system in each of the utilities throughout Southern California couldn't see what was going on, didn't know what other people were doing. Bad communication. That's what they mean by observability. They were effectively flying blind, and they shouldn't have been. In terms of who's to blame, the regulators decided to put a pox on everyone's house. Rather than pointing a finger at any one utility, it said, all of you were acting like you were on a Simpsons show. You were all acting badly, and you need to get your act cleaned up in time for this to not happen again.
Let's talk about the timing of this. We keep hearing that this region is in for rotating blackouts this summer because San Onofre might still be offline. How critical is adequate planning this summer?
Very, very critical. We literally this summer will have no margin for error. With San Onofre out of commission, we cannot make any mistakes. So we are literally walking on an electric tightrope this summer. And if we are thrown off balance in any way, if any of these kind of problems reemerge during a heat wave that we have, then there will be dire consequences for this region. So we just simply have to have these fixes in place by July.
These fixes, who's in charge of making sure that they happen?
The federal regulators are the ones who are going to be observing and making sure that what they've asked for is done by the various utilities and by the California system operator.
And how confident should San Diegans be that the story is going to be watched quite closely and that we're not going to have even worse blackouts than we might just have if it was only San Onofre that was the problem?
Based upon what we know today, I'm very nervous. And what we'll need to hear all the utilities say is, we've implemented the changes, the reforms have been put into place by July 1. And if we don't hear that, then we have reason to believe that this could be a long, hot, uncomfortable summer.
One thing I'm curious about is that the California Independent System Operator initially said after the blackout that they were going to do an investigation. They were very concerned. They were going to do their own probe, but then they didn't. What do you think about that, and do you know why?
I do, yes. It turns out the California System Operator was one of the people or one of the entities that messed up. There were a number of mess-ups. They were one of them. They couldn't be very well in charge of an investigation into their own mess-ups. So rather than be put in that situation, they deferred to the federal regulators to do the investigation. It was probably appropriate.
So is there any kind of internal house cleaning that we should be expecting at the ISO or anywhere else?
You're not going to see heads roll. You saw a lot of eyes rolling. But I don't think you're going to see people who are being fired. What you're going to see is hopefully a new humility amongst the various system operators, realizing that they aren't the lords and the gods. This is a tricky situation.
Michael Shames, thank you so much for offering us your insight today.
My pleasure.